even though it's stretching the tires at the front, it's still got maximum predictability. This is the configuration that you want. It's the MX-5 GT RS with the manual transmission. Got all of the fashionable black highlights, such as side mirrors, window trims, and BBS alloy wheels. And I love this exterior color. It's called Zircon Sand. And from some angles, it looks like a flat color, but in the sun, you can see that it is definitely metallic. It just looks kind of cool. It's got some street appeal to it, especially with the black highlights. So imagine an old street machine or something like that painted in this color with the black highlights as well. It'd look really cool. The RS is pretty expensive though. So this example is around $56,000 before on-road costs. With the metallic paint option, it's $595 more. So you're pushing $57,000 for what is basically a weekend fun car or a track car or something like that. But with the RS, you do get some unique features, including Brembo brakes. They're hardcore, multi-piston calipers on the front there, with a matching red caliper on the back. It's nothing special, but it's just painted red to match. You also have Bilstein suspension underneath. I remember Mazda did a special edition in, it must have been around 2018, with Bilstein suspension and bigger brakes. I remember driving it thinking, gee, why don't they just make this the flagship model? So it's good that they've done that with this RS package. It handles beautifully. We'll go for a drive in a minute. The suspension is just more capable of absorbing bumps, but it offers a bit more control, a bit more body control. The MX-5 is a very versatile vehicle, so you can take it on a country road or you can take it to the track. But just on the track, you'll notice there is a little bit of body roll, which can be playful. It can help because you can use that weight shifting to your advantage. But with the Bilstein suspension, it's just a little bit more tied down and you pretty much lose no comfort. So there's no sacrifice to comfort at all, really. I drove the automatic version not that long ago along the same road and couldn't really tell the difference. Just with this, with the Bilstein suspension, yeah, there's just, the body is a bit more tied down, so it doesn't move around as much. With the RS model, you also get a new DSC track mode, which is accessible via that button there. So you've got the normal DSC button, you can turn it all off, or you've got this little one with the checkered flag on there, and then you can access DSC track. And basically what that is it gives you a bit more slip and play. So it will still catch the vehicle and stop it from spinning around or looping around on itself, but it just allows you to slide a little bit and move the vehicle around a bit more laterally. Once again, I love the way the exterior paint extends to the interior. It was a bit of a 1970s thing, I guess. But yeah, inside, very intimate cabin. Even for me, I do feel quite confined and restricted in here. There's not too much space, but it is very intimate. You feel like you're a part of the vehicle rather than just sitting in something. Even down here, you've got this big center console tunnel, or the transmission tunnel, and it sort of pokes out. It doesn't matter because it's below your knee and you don't really need the room down there, but it just makes it feel a little bit claustrophobic. And back here, the floor rises up. Again, you don't need that space, but it just changes the sort of perception of space. Just makes it feel a bit more confined. I love the way that when you start it, I'll do that again. When you start it, it gives it a little rev by itself. So I won't touch the throttle. Just gives it a little vroom as you start it up, which is quite cool. The interior is very nicely presented. I think it suits the design of the exterior as well. You've got some swooping shapes, lovely sports seats, and yeah, very limited storage. You've got the cup holders there which slot in, you can take them out. Then you've got to put them in that little cavity box there. And there's no glove box, and just a very small spot for your phone or something, and a little spot for the key basically. Yeah, this is definitely a driver's car, not a everyday vehicle. I mean, you could use it as an everyday vehicle, but yeah, the limited storage and the sort of tight cabin feel is going to become a bit sort of tiresome after a while. It's great to see proper analog gauges for the driver, so actual needles that spin around. This part here is fully digital, and you can change the sort of display themes to some level. You can change the trip information and whatever. Then up on the dash, we've got a 8.8-inch media screen, which is controlled via this little wheel knob here. I like these little hand controllers because it means you can focus on the road and just glance across and see what you're scrolling through, rather than have to fully take your attention off the road and focus on where you're pushing your finger. It does come with wireless Apple CarPlay as well, and weirdly, when you use Apple CarPlay, you've got touch functionality, so you can just use the touch screen, whereas when you go back to the Mazda setup, you don't have touch functionality, which is a bit weird. The only problem is when you've got Apple CarPlay and you're using this little wheel thing, you've got to scroll all the way across. I mean, you can use the wheel up and down to make quicker selections as well, but yeah, it's just a little bit tiresome flicking all the way through. So then you just use the touch functionality. And then down below, you've got a separate climate control panel. All of your controls are there, so aircon, air recirculation, and then you've also got heated seats with the RS model. Twin USB-C ports down there as well, but no wireless phone charger. And then in the back, when you find the little secret button to open the boot, which is just underneath there, you've got a 127 litre capacity, which is not huge, but you could fit, you know, a weekend bag or even a couple of weekend bags in there. It doesn't go very deep as in forward, but it does drop down a bit. So you can, yeah, stack up some bags and so on. You could probably do a bit of shopping, a bit of weekly shopping if you don't have a big family or you're living by yourself or something. But yeah, it's not meant for absolute, you know, shopping capability. And then under the bonnet, we've got a 2-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, 135 kilowatts and 205 Newton meters, which is just about right for a vehicle like this. This specification only weighs 1,100 kilograms, so when you get that power and divide it by the weight, you're getting a quite good power to weight ratio. It does have high compression and it is very willing to rev. It also comes with a strut tower brace there as well for extra chassis rigidity. All right, we'll go for a bit of a thrash now. I'll try it out in DSC track mode and also DSC completely off, and then we'll do the performance testing later on as well. So to start with, we'll try it with the DSC track mode. You just hit it once and it will activate. Actually, we'll just see if it lets you spin off the mark. Kind of, but not as much as with stability control completely turned off. Which we'll do that now. Yeah, it spins a little bit more, I guess, but not a lot. Go back to the DSC track mode. You've got to hold it down for 1 second roughly. Now this is what driving is all about, just raw, naturally aspirated, manual gear shifting. It's just a very engaging drive experience. I hope that's not too noisy for you. I might put up the roof about halfway just in case it is a bit noisy. It's easy to rev match during downshifts. The pedals are quite close together, but not really annoyingly so, unless you've got really big clown feet or something. But yeah, it's definitely an intimate experience. Got a few sticks on the ground. Yeah, so it's kicking out a little bit at the back, but not drastically. Loves to rev all the way up to 7,000 RPM. Very nice steering, organic feeling steering. You can feel what the front wheels are doing. I might just put that roof up because I fear that it's going to be too noisy on camera. Electric folding roof. And then you can wind the windows up separately if you want to. Yeah, that's a bit better. So the Bilstein suspension along here is quite bumpy. You might not see it on camera, but it's not a very comfortable road. But I like testing vehicles along here because it uncovers any, well, it just tells me a lot about how the suspension is able to handle it. And this is handling it perfectly. Like, it's not throwing me around, even though this is a very lightweight vehicle. I'm hitting these bumps and it's just catching and absorbing the the energy, but not sending it on and changing the stability of the vehicle. So we'll spin out, kick out a little bit, but not too much. The gear shift is nice, but it's not absolutely perfect, at least in this test car. I'm finding going from second to third can be a little bit notchy. It still feels very mechanical and solid. I mean, it is mechanical and solid, but it's probably not the best gear shift action in the MX-5's history. It's still very good compared to pretty much any other manual transmission, especially a hot hatch that's got the gearbox under the bonnet at the front with a lot of linkages and so on. So this is a definite mechanical feel straight into the gearbox. But yeah, I have experienced nicer feeling shifters in previous MX-5s. This engine doesn't produce all that much torque, and it's not available until you rev it out a little bit. So just to give you an example, I'm in third gear. We are going downhill a little bit, but 2,500 RPM. It picks up okay because it is so light, and it doesn't bog down, which is the main thing. But yeah, if you really want to extract the most out of it, you're better off shifting down and revving the absolute crap out of it. So down through here, very bumpy, unsettles the car very easily, but this remains very solid and predictable. I think this Bilstein suspension setup is, yeah, one of the best out there, really, for on the road anyway. On the track you might want to lower it down a little bit to reduce that body movement even more, but on a road this is exactly what you want. Mazda says it has made some revisions for the 2024 model to get more of the engine sound into the cabin, and it certainly sounds like it. Okay, we'll try it with the DSC completely turned off. Yeah, it slips a little bit more, I guess, but it's still very controllable. It's still got a lot of grip, at least on a road like this. If you're on a track, you can really hang the tail out. Being so small, it is very nimble as well, so even on narrow roads like this, you can dart it around exactly where you want it to be. Yeah, I think I would definitely choose the manual transmission over the automatic, even though the automatic is pretty good, like it helps with grand touring comfort. But if you've got a vehicle like this, then you're probably going to be hitting roads like this most of the time. You know, you want to go for a nice spirited drive, or even hit the track. And the manual, yeah, just gives you that more control, more engagement. Lots of fun. Like, look at that. It's just, even though it's stretching the tires at the front, it's still got maximum predictability. Now this corner is really weird. I'd like to drift all the way around it, but it kind of tightens up as it goes around, so I don't really have confidence to do that, especially on a road. But this just makes it feel friendly. It's not intimidating at all. I can just place it exactly where I want it to go. Yeah, really nice setup. This is the configuration I would buy for sure. I'd probably go for the full open top rather than the RF. I know the RF does help with refinement on the highway because you've got that sort of solid roof, hard top roof. But I think with the roof completely down, you're getting that open air experience even more. Whereas this, it's kind of just like a huge sunroof, kind of anyway, compared with the regular Roadster that's, you know, flips all the way back. What do you think though? What would you choose, the RF or the normal Roadster? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's head out now to the private road and do some performance testing.